Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our final Zoom event as a part of the Berkshire High Peaks New Year's Reunion Bash. The Berkshire High Peaks Festival is a part of Close Encounters with Music. I, as well as our guests tonight, are so delighted that you took this evening to spend time with us and celebrate the power of music. Now, I just want to say a couple words on behalf of Mr. Yehuda Hanani, the artistic director, as well as the Berkshire High Peaks faculty. We are so delighted at the wonderful attendance we've had at all of these virtual events. Your supportive words have really encouraged us throughout the reunion. And in turn, we hope that this reunion has been encouraging and supportive of you all as well. We really hope you could take away at least one idea, one piece of inspiration to help you persevere and start the new year right in 2021. We all faced various amounts of difficulty and trials in the past year with the pandemic. And so it was really important for all of us to come together, share our experiences, share our ideas, and see how we could create some ideas to share with you all. So we really hope you got some valuable takeaways by being here, and we're so grateful for all of you. And we just really want to hope and wish that you guys have a safe and healthy start to 2021. And we know when we go back to normal, it's not going to be quite the same. However, we look forward to that time. I know I do. And I'm pretty sure all of you out there do as well, when we get to perform live and see one another in person. So we hope with this final presentation tonight that you will get some inspiration to continue and to stay creatively productive until that time comes when we can be live and in person again. So I am going to hand over the mic, so to speak, to Danielle Talamantes and Kerry Wilkerson, who are our beloved vocal faculty members, and they have a very special presentation class for you tonight featuring some of our vocal alumni. So I want to welcome Danielle and Kerry.
Thank you,
Carolyn.
Well, we may be the beloved voice. Well, we're the only voice faculties.
But we're glad we're beloved.
You're stuck with us either way. Thank you so much. This has been a really fun few days of events, and just learning different perspectives and hearing what people are up to with creativity and innovation, and also exploring what we're feeling, what we're all going through in such a state of unrest, as it were, especially for the arts. I know this event was titled a Masterclass, but Kerry and I decided that instead of sort of an instructional back and forth scenario that is typical of a Masterclass, that we sort of chose the theme of Epiphany, which is, has its sacred context, but also just the concept of hope, new beginnings, light, all of that with the brand new start of a new year. So we've invited some of our former participants of the festival to share some projects that they've been working on recently, whether it's related to something fun, something for their studies, something for the future. So we've got quite a little selection of music to share with you that was all recorded in recent weeks, actually, I think, for all of you. And then the second half of this event, we'd love to kind of open up the floor to any questions that you guys might have. I know Carolyn's going to be monitoring the chat box. We will too. But really wanted to make this kind of an open forum, a safe place to voice any questions, concerns, thoughts about where we are, where we came from, where we're going, and all the things that we as artists are currently doing to keep on keeping on, pretty much. Anything from you, Kerry?
No, I'm just anxious for us to jump right in, and we never really came up with an order. So, does somebody want to volunteer to go first here, or do you want to raise your hand, or do you want us to just decide?
Yeah, I think the last part.
Okay, Madeline, you're on my top right hand here. Would you be willing to go first and share a little bit about what you've been up to?
Of course. So I wanted to share a video that I recorded just a few months ago. It is of Una voce poco fa, which is Rosina's aria from Il Barbiere di Siviglia. I have been working on this aria since this past summer and started out as a little bit of a personal challenge and really grew into something that I love to perform. I had the opportunity to sing it for the Berkshire's festival this summer in a masterclass with Jay Lessinger. And that was a fantastic experience. And I really started to crack the character, just continued to work on my acting with this piece and eventually recorded it for graduate school pre-screens. So it's been a great learning experience for me. I love singing it. And I think it's specifically appropriate for tonight and this past year because Rosina has such a fiery spirit and she's determined. And I've been really determined this year. I haven't really stopped working, just pushing forward for my goals. So I hope you enjoy the performance. This aria takes place at the beginning, near the beginning of the opera, where Rosina has fallen in love with Lindoro. And she has decided that she will make him hers, despite the fact that she has a tutor who wants to marry her for her money. And the tutor is much older and she has no interest in that. So she's going to trick and play her way to get what she wants. So enjoy.
La
Brava!
Brava diva!
So one thing that was kind of funny about that is what was this for? I don't remember, but you had a pre-recorded accompaniment track made for that, way early on. And then it was like, the more your agility increased, the more it was like, this is not workable. I need something like 10 times faster.
Yep, it has come a long, long way since I first started working on it last summer. So it's definitely one of the things I'm most proud of as far as my growth.
Well, and Rossini will continue to grow and shift and change.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's brava. Why don't we go next to Camilla? Tell us a little bit about what you're sharing.
Of course, I will be, I'm not singing anything. The video I recorded was for my juries for this past semester. And the song that I chose to share with you all tonight is Song to the Dark Virgin by Florence Price. And it's text by Langston Hughes from his 1926 volume, The Weary Blues. And I chose this piece because I thought it went well with the theme of Epiphany, at least the way that I choose to interpret the piece. The singer is imagining herself in as she would like to be, and she keeps reinventing herself and decorating herself with jewels and then with garments, and then at the end she decides enough is enough. She'll succumb to the fire. It's my interpretation. It's a little much to be desired, but I hope you enjoy it. My name is, and I will be singing Song to the Dark Virgin by Florence Price. Would that I were a jewel, a shattered jewel, that all my shining brilliance might fall at thy feet, thou dark one.
We have to get creative with the tracks, don't we?
I'm happy it worked. I had to do a couple takes. Yeah.
Well, we do have a gathered audience here that's not necessarily versed in all things tweaking in terms of making a track work for you. Can you talk a little bit about, what you were doing?
Well, I had to pause the accompaniment track. Of course, I did not have a live accompanist for my jury. I had to pause the track at the end because I needed a little more time than the track was giving me to hold out that last note. And then it was still a little, I think I paused at the wrong spot and for a little bit too long, but I made it work.
You did
You
make it work. You definitely made it work.
You made it work well.
Oh my gosh. Anything set to music with text of Langston Hughes is just, it's just so gorgeous. And I got the Epiphany connection.
Oh yeah.
Thank
Definitely.
you so much.
Thank you. Hey Keon, what's up?
Well, let me just say, one of the great joys about being able to go online this past summer with Berkshire's Festival was the opportunity that we were able to give some of our high school students to join us. And Keon is a junior at George C. Marshall High School.
Yep.
You're junior, right? Not senior.
Yeah, junior.
Junior. So he had just finished his sophomore year of high school when he joined us over the summer. And personally, Keon, I thought you were more than ready for it. And I know you grew a lot from the experience. I know it was like, you told me, not you. These are my words, not yours. But there was a little bit like jumping in head first into a festival that was all Beethoven.
yeah, it was definitely different for me. I've never been in that much of a, intense classical music environment, especially for singing.
Can you talk a little bit about that and share with our viewers what that experience was like for you, being so young?
So, well, obviously I'd never done a music festival like this before. My singing experience has kind of grown exponentially in the past few years. And, I haven't really been singing classically for that long. So jumping into this level of, classical music was very interesting for me because, it opened me up to a whole world of music that I never knew there was so much that I could, learn. And so much to sing and enjoy. So I don't know, it was new and different for me, but I thought that it was something that was worthwhile, and I'll definitely do it again. So yeah.
So I mean, you've had a lot of projects going on over the last several months, but we picked the most recent one that you did to share tonight. You want to tell us?
Well, and I'll just throw out there that Keon has been one of those students. We're always learning from each other, right? We learn from our students learn from us, but Keon, for sure, from the forefront of this leap into needing to understand technology, he was already kind of set up.
You were way ahead of the curve. Yeah.
So I guess in terms of technology, I not only do I sing and I've recorded have been recording myself singing for the past few years, but I also play video games and stuff. So my computer setup was more than, well equipped for what was coming. As of March, I was already, ready to jump into the whole virtual world. And, I was already kind of a computer guy. So combining that experience with what we need to do with music now, kind of helped me help other people. And, I also learned a lot through this time, but I guess I got to also help a lot of people understand the technology side so that, we could continue to make music.
Yep. So yeah, tell us, I mean, technically the holidays are over, but this project that you did was really fun. So tell our audience what went down and how long it took you.
Oh yeah. So I guess I'll tell you guys why I put this together. But my high school was doing their winter concert, and they couldn't really fill up the whole time with choral pieces because, of course, they have to put those all together. So it's a lot more work to put together one song. So they opened it up to solo and small group assignments. And I originally was going to record something with three other guys, and we're gonna put it all. I was gonna put it all together. But come the day before we were supposed to turn all these videos in, my friends weren't really as prepared as I thought they were going to be. And since I taught them all the parts, I already knew all four parts to this song. So I just went into my audio, I guess, music making software, and I sang the tenor one part, the tenor two part, the bass one part, and the bass two part, and I kind of put it all together myself in a few hours. And then I shot I wouldn't call it a music video. It's not really good enough for that, but some sort of, some clips, yeah, around my house with my family, just, kind of singing along and having a little bit of fun. So yeah, I don't know if this is really along with the theme of Epiphany, but it was fun. It was good enough.
It's fun. Let's take a look.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I don't need to hang my stocking there upon the fireplace. Santa Claus will make me happy with a toy on Christmas Day. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true, baby. All I want for Christmas is you. You, baby, oh. All the lights are shining so brightly everywhere, and the sound of children laughter fills the air, and everyone is singing. I can hear those sleigh bells ringing. Santa, won't you please bring me what I really need? Won't you please bring my baby to me? Baby, all I want for Christmas is you.
Bravo! One-man band. It's really impressive that you had to punt like that with about 24 hours and just get it done. So having the skills in place was very helpful. Having the talent and the range to pull off singing four parts. It's really fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kian. What do you think?
Well, going in our order, we're at Grace.
Okay, Grace.
Hi. I mean, that's a tough act to follow. I submitted a jury video. I sang Je dis que rien ne m'épouvante. It's Michaela's aria from Carmen, and it's in Act 1. And she's in the mountains searching for the man that she loves who went to follow the smugglers. And so she is kind of cowering in fear, and she turns to God for comfort. And oddly, it kind of fits the theme of the times right now, where we're kind of turning to whatever it may be. It could be religion. For me, it was music to get us through this difficult time. So I hope you all enjoy it.
Hello, Sneed, and today I will be singing Je dis que rien ne m'épouvante by Georges Bizet from Carmen.
Brava!
I've never heard that aria before. No, I'm just...
I know, it's so underdone.
Well, it's beautiful, Grace. I first started working that aria when I was about your age, and I remember being like, okay, I'm gonna be living with this one for a long time. And yeah, like Rossini, you will continue to grow and, you know, come back to it with sort of new habits and just let it continue to evolve. But beautifully done. And you know, Michaela, tough cookie. New beginnings for her because she's done with that guy. All right, we've got Lizzie.
Hello. So, the video I chose to contribute was also part of jury recordings for this past semester. As you'll probably notice, it's in the exact same room because Grace and I recorded our juries together and helped each other play our pre-recorded tracks and all that. It was a very fun time. But the song that I chose was a very popular French art song, Si mes vers avaient des ailes by Reynaldo Hahn. He was a child prodigy and he wrote it as a young teenager in about 1888. The text is set to text by the Victor Hugo, and I chose it just because I love that piece and something I had to reassure myself of and that of my peers who are going through very similar struggles as me during this very difficult time is that if you don't enjoy the music you're singing, what do you have? And so I make sure to choose music that really speaks to me and that I truly find beautiful. And so I chose it because it's just about love and how one wishes their verses could fly to their love like a bird, like a spark to a flame. It's very expressive and sweet, and Han was a vocalist, so he is very in tune to writing text for the singer and to make it very speech-like. So I hope I did it justice. I do recall that night of recording juries to be rather difficult, but you know, it gets me through.
Hello, my name is Lizzie Thomas, and I will be singing Si mes vers avaient des ailes by Reynaldo Hahn.
Brava! Way to breath capacity.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Lizzie. Beautiful.
Yeah, I worked on that one.
Great song for you.
It is. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's so many songs about, well, anyway, you said it very well. This is what so many of us as musicians, are seeking solace in music and seeking solace in finding ways to perform and share our art form. And we know so many out there in the world are finding hope, inspiration, solace, comfort in music. So keep working on these projects, whatever they're for, keep sharing them. We do have one other little thing we wanted to share, but just looking at the time, wanted to open it up to anybody watching right now. If you guys had any comments or questions about these artists and what they've been up to, or any commentary from our current participants also about what we're all kind of going through together. The chat has been kind of quiet, but there's been supportive stuff, so thanks for that. Anything? I'm seeing, well, yeah, do any of you guys who have offered material, do you have any comments or thoughts? Only when singing. Okay, good.
I actually had a question for our vocalists. Oh, there goes my camera. If it doesn't work, you can hear my voice. That's all you need, right? I would love to know if after this pandemic, does it affect how you guys view and choose the repertoire you want to perform?
Lizzie spoke briefly to that. Finding stuff that really speaks to you and inspires you. Anybody else?
I would agree. Oh, go ahead, Grace.
Oh, no, you go.
Oh, I would just say I would agree with what Lizzie said. I think it's important to sing pieces that speak to you, especially right now, just because motivation can be low. So if you have something that you really enjoy and look forward to, it's just that extra boost. If you ever need it on a certain day, just feel like, yes, I want to work on this piece. So I've been really lucky. All of my pre-screen material I love. Everything I've been working on lately has been great. So it's important to care about what you're singing, and it allows you to bring more to that piece too.
Yeah, personally for me, lately I've been loving doing rep that scares me to death to try and start doing. I've had to do some arias this past semester where I actually had to act, and my nickname at JMU is Robot, because I'm literally still when I sing. And so I just kind of dove into the deep end this semester, and it's actually been really rewarding. So that's what I've been doing, and it's actually been very fun.
I feel like a lot of the time when we're selecting rep for the semester, at least at school, we're just ticking off boxes, making sure we have all these requirements. And if this pandemic has taught me anything, it's to be more thoughtful and careful in my selections. I was fortunate enough, all three of us study in the same studio, and we're encouraged to select our own music and be really thoughtful about it. So it's just very rewarding to do the extra work, do some research, find stuff that speaks to your heart so that you can communicate it clearly and just really get the most out of the experience. Or else it can be so monotonous to just make sure you're, doing a German, French, and Italian piece every semester with like an English art song. But if you make it personal in some way, it just is very rewarding.
Thank you for sharing that, Camila. Kian, I appreciated what you spoke to earlier about sort of, your roots not necessarily being in classical, and talk about diving into the deep end. Beethoven is a pretty deep end.
That's a hell of a start.
Yeah. But clearly, with your the the project that you put together, you're able to just kind of very versatile, kind of flip right back into some little bit of, riffing, and it's speaks to good technique.
But also, Keon, tell our viewers how many instruments you play.
Yeah. So I may be new to classical singing, but I've been playing piano since I was 3, so that's 14 years classically. And I picked up the guitar like 7 years ago, and I can play the drums. So classical is new in terms of singing, but it's definitely been a part of my musical journey in other respects.
My biggest point is music is in your DNA. It really is. I've known that about you since I met you. You are an inherent musician, and a really fine one.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you, Marjorie. A lot of people who this has been spoken to all for the last 3 days, but people who don't necessarily have access to the theater or even seeing their daughter or grandchild do their recital, all of a sudden we're just launched into this ever more accessible format, and it's not ideal, right? It's not as collaborative as we want it to be, but being able to share music like this across miles and miles where otherwise we might not have is definitely a silver lining. I'd love for you and Carolyn to speak briefly about your project that has been the gestation period is approaching human.
And Carolyn, would you have been participating this past summer had it not gone all online?
So you mean for the Berkshire summer?
Yeah. Would you have been a part of the High Peaks Festival?
So I guess it's kind of fate in an odd sense, because I was actually scheduled to attend a different festival. But because of the pandemic, they had to postpone it by a year. And I've mentioned this before, but I studied cello with Yehuda Hanani, and he got to talking, and he could see that I was kind of down about not getting to go to this festival. And so I had attended High Peaks in the past, and he said, well, we're doing it virtual, but why don't you come? And it was a great experience. It was a very different experience, but I actually got to meet people like Danielle and Kerry, and we may not have met, or it would have been delayed.
Well, and that was one of the big takeaways for us, was the opportunity to meet and get to know you a little bit. You're an incredibly competent person technically in everything that you do. We knew you had to be an outstanding musician. But the big thing that attracted us to you was just your optimism, your enthusiasm for what you do. I don't know, you just throw yourself into projects. And when we discovered your alter ego, the cello doll, and went to your website, and we were like, okay, we have got to plan some projects with this woman. It's just too much fun. So I don't remember how it all came about. I know I threw it out there at some point that I had some projects in mind with a cellist, and the first one being the Don Carlo King Philip's aria by Verdi, that I really felt, Grace, you might appreciate this. This is an aria that I learned when I was a sophomore in college, well beyond my years. It was something that I knew I would never perform, and my teacher told me, I'm assigning you this aria as a learning tool. I don't expect you to ever perform this. But I always loved the aria, and I remember listening to it when I was in college, thinking, it really is a duet between the cello and the bass baritone singer. And after seeing Carolyn's work that she had done on her cello doll Instagram page and website, I thought, what if we made this a duet where Carolyn is the cellist and she is actually the character Elizabeth, who is King Philip's wife, who was actually betrothed to his son before King Philip stepped in and married him for married her for himself. And now in this aria, he's really haunted with the knowledge that Elizabeth never loved him, and that the only way for him really out of this whole scenario was death. So Carolyn ran with the whole idea and took it, dialed it up to 11 for us.
Well, and then collaborating.
As I do with everything, Kerry.
Thank you for doing that.
And we collaborated with Annie Brooks, who was our collaborative pianist this past summer. We asked her if she would provide the piano accompaniment for this, and then we brought in Crystal Manich to give us some direction where we wanted to take it, and she volunteered to do all the video editing, and that's kind of her thing. That's what she does right now during the COVID era. So Carolyn and I just saw the finished product a couple of days ago, and then Crystal sent us a teaser that we could use on Instagram and Facebook. So Carolyn, I'll let you take over.
Let's watch that.
Sure.
That's truly a teaser.
So Carolyn, when do you think this is going to launch?
Well, I know that's something we need to discuss with Crystal, because I actually have some promotional ideas, but I would see it definitely coming out this month.
Okay.
Sure. I think it could. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've talked about it, and we all agree it's going to launch from your website or however you choose to launch it. But I think Crystal and I both agree that makes the most sense, and we're excited for you just to take the lead on that and move ahead when it feels right.
If you haven't checked out the creativity that is the cello doll, you need to check it out. Instagram and YouTube. There's some amazing stuff. You're so creative.
And subscribe to her YouTube channel so you'll know when he releases this video.
Yeah. And it's so funny. You call it an alter ego, but really it's an oversaturation of myself. Well, thank you. And it was so fascinating. And I really want to share that this year has really led me to collaborating with people that I never thought I would necessarily, because I communicated with people in other countries, and that's been kind of a hidden silver lining for this. And the other thing too is, I have to stress this so much, no matter what you think your ability is, whether it be making a music video or layering tracks, work with people, because they'll come up with ideas you might never have thought of. And that was the thing, like, especially talking with Kerry, and Kerry and Danielle are very supportive. However, there are things I do not know. And they came up with questions and ideas that was very helpful for me as well. And especially, I also love working with people who make dazzling multimedia that I wouldn't even want to touch. So really, collaborate. Don't be afraid to reach out to people, and no matter what, the way I see it, if you ask someone to collaborate with you and they say no, you're right back where you were. It doesn't matter in a sense. But if they say yes, you have an amazing opportunity. So, and also I've worked with vocalists so much. Unfortunately, it just happened in my conservatory. I didn't work too often with vocalists. So I learned so much too, just working with Kerry and Danielle. Hint, hint, we have something coming soon too. But thank you both so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Well, and two final points to make here. Like, and that I remember when we first approached you about working on a couple of projects, you said how that you were finding in this age in particular, where we are right now, that collaborating is really key, isn't it? It's sort of key to your future. So that's just something to share with all of our students here. Continue to collaborate, and it's really easy for us to lock ourselves in a practice room and spend a lot of time isolated. But now more than ever, I think it's a great time for us to be reaching out, as Carolyn was saying, to friends far and near. And I've been really struck by how people have appreciated it when I've reached out to them. I'm working on a project right now for Virginia Nats, which I hope you're all planning to participate in, coming up soon here. But I think I'm going to be doing a presentation on careers for vocalists in military music at the conference in late January. So at least I'm working on that right now, and I'm expecting to present, but nobody's officially given me the go-ahead. So, but yeah, I've been reaching out to friends far and near that I hadn't talked to in years for interviews, and just have really been struck how much they've appreciated the contact. So there's that. And the other big things, Grace, I say this again to you, this aria that you sang tonight from Carmen, you might not perform that for a long, long time. I never thought I would be working on Ella Jamai Mamo, but here I am 30 plus years later, and it feels pretty darn good in the voice. So the point, though, the larger point here is that all these songs that you're learning right now they're going to follow you for the rest of your life. And what is most encouraging to me, listening to all of you tonight, is that, this is an art form that we pass down from generation to generation. And you all are picking up the torch and running with it. It's really exciting. Couldn't be more proud of you all.
Thank you so much, Kerry, for saying that.
Well, thank you all.
It's very true. It's, we're working with you all is just, it's unbelievably fulfilling, and, we learn every day from you guys. So it's, it's nice to be part of a musical village and community, and got to keep on keeping on.
It's an overwhelming joy to watch you all grow.
On that note.
So for all of our viewers, please stay tuned or log into the next thing. So,
which is starting in like 3 minutes. What was it? What did they call it? A tapas platter of performances. And that's not a Zoom thing, right? It's just on the YouTube channel.
YouTube Live.
Correct. Yes, I am about. There we go. It's in the chat. It's our Moonlight Faculty Tribute, and that will be on YouTube. And it premieres kind of like a concert stream. So it will automatically start playing. If you're thinking, oh no, I have something at 9, don't worry. It's going to remain up. So once the concert streams, it's still going to remain on our YouTube channel as a regular video that you guys can watch whenever you want. So.
Awesome.
Thank you. So good to see you all, and thank you for our gathered audience who joined us. And share this with friends. They can check it out at a later time. Bravi tutti.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Yes.
Oh, my pleasure. So thank you so much to Danielle and Kerry. This was, I think, a really beautiful way to close our reunion. Not only hearing about personal experiences, but also hearing repertoire choices that were personal for each and every one of you during this time. It was a beautiful variety, and just showcasing how much you all have grown and persevered. It was really amazing for me to especially hear the vocalists I heard this summer, and then not hearing you for a few months and thinking, wow, they been working it. They have been just taking strides, and there's something about persevering and really in touch with your passion. I think it's a huge thing, and that's been a huge thing that's helped me in this pandemic. It hasn't always been constant, but just that love of striving to find that fire to carry on, I think is so important, and you all demonstrated that beautifully. So this is our last Zoom event. As Kerry and Danielle said, we have the YouTube faculty tribute. All of the faculty you saw give master classes are featured in this tribute, so check it out and be sure to subscribe because there are going to be more events coming. So you want to stay tuned to be updated. And thank you all so much for joining us, and stay healthy, safe, creative, and revisit these if you need another little pep talk. Thank you all so much. As Danielle beautifully said, bravi tutti. Have a beautiful evening, everybody.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.